The Pompeo-Pence ceasefire seems to be more of a Pompeo-Pence dumpster fire. One of the reasons it's not really a ceasefire is because one of the sides refuses to even call it a ceasefire. It lasted about 5 minutes. As Mustafa Bali, a Kurdish-led SDF leader, said, despite the agreement to halt the fighting, air and artillery attacks continue to target the positions of fighters, civilian settlements, and the hospital in one of the cities, Ras al-Ayn, which is right on the border. Turkey is violating the ceasefire agreement by continuing to attack the town since last night. What is the deal? In case you're not familiar, the deal, Vice President Pence on Thursday announced the 5-day ceasefire deal weeks after President Trump said he would be pulling US troops from the area where they've been assisting Kurdish forces ahead of a Turkish attack. Thursday's deal called for a 5-day pause in fighting between Turkish and Kurdish fighters and put a temporary halt to the battle along the Syrian border. It also gave the Turks the 20-mile deep safe zone into Syria, so they would advance into Syria 20 miles and about 70 miles wide, that leaders in Ankara had sought for months, but what it meant for US forces withdrawing from Syria remained unclear. So great job, guys.
Right.
Pence and Trump routinely referred to it as a ceasefire. Turkish Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu rejected that term and called it a pause in fighting because he said ceasefires are only possible between, quote, two legitimate sides. So it's tough when, and you don't want to hear Turkish people saying that this side of a group of folks is not a legitimate group of folks. Like that's really, really scary historically.
Right, and historically, yesterday, yeah.
It's really weird.
Also, just how often I think Trump is willing to kind of mosey up to really horrible leaders, kind of like pal up with them, and then they don't care about him.
That's what it is.
That is so fascinating that this is the 4th time in a month and a half that this has happened.
He gets baited.
And embarrassed so often. And then we just have to pretend like he's not embarrassed or that he, like what's being said to him and about him publicly is not happening.
Yeah.
Because he's pushed himself into a corner.
Meanwhile, and you need to look no further than yesterday's events when most Republicans in the House of Representatives came out against Trump's behavior. So if you're looking for essentially like cracks in the dam, then that is a huge one. It is the kind of huge one that then sent Trump into a dissociative state, who knows, like a kind of a fugue state where he had a warped sense of reality saying that Nancy Pelosi freaked out, even though he's the one saying, "Do you think they like me?" That was one of his tweets. Do you think they like me?
And House Republicans speaking out, like this is an advancement. Like step 1 would be like Jeff Flake's tweets, right?
Yeah.
Step 2 is what we had yesterday. We're still not at 10. We need to get it to 10.
That said,
but we're no longer on 1.
There was a Republican on CNN this morning who, with the Mulvaney stuff and with this, when asked, still says stuff like, "I want to know what they meant by that," because that's troubling. It's like they've already told you what they mean by that. You need look no further. And when it's a giant vote where a lot of people come forward and say, "Listen, we're taking a stand," they feel like they're more secure. Maybe that's just one more step. Maybe that's all they're comfortable doing and they won't do more. But it's on people like us to get the word out that this is not okay. This is not okay in any reasonable way.
Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members-only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.